great to have your company. James Bracey with you here for a massive edition of 100% Footy. Stacks of Origin stuff coming your way. On top of that too, the run home, 10 rounds to go. The NRLW season's upon us as well. Let's just rip straight into it. Subbing in off the bench for Cameron Smith tonight, floating in the ether, Mr. Darren Lockyer. Hello, Lockie.
Hey, Bruce.
Lots to chat about with you in regards to Origin very soon. Hello, Danny Weidler.
Hello, James.
Scuttlebutt. You're going to be keeping someone busy tonight. That's not me, I can promise you that. Top Dog.
James Bracey, how you doing?
I was going to say 2 points. You lost by 2 points, but still not a bad effort regardless.
Yeah, it's Origin time, mate. Let's get off the club footy.
You're rubbing it in.
Straight into it. Before we do get into the Origin footy, what did we learn from the round that was, Top Dog?
What did we learn? Now, last week I said that Zach Lomax was the best kick chaser in the NRL. Storm forward Eli Katoa said, "Gussie boy, hold my beer." Look at what he did on the weekend. The big fellow scored a try, ran onto a hard pass, but it was the kick chasers. Look at this, up above Will Kennedy, comes down for a try, and then just to double it up, he did it again and got a pass away for another Storm try. So a try and assist from the big back rower.
Yeehaw.
He said, well, if you think Zach Lomax is good, get on over this. Hold my beer, baby.
For a big fella. Well done. Jerome here's the beneficiary. Brilliant, Gus. Love it. Lockie, for you?
Well, the beanie for brain cancer round, it just gets bigger and better every year. It's great to see the players, the coaches, the fans, everyone get behind it. Everyone in the game and involved in the game get behind the round and raise much needed money. $3.5 million this year. That's $35 million now over 9 years that the Mark Hughes Foundation has donated to this great cause, and there's no one bigger than Mark Hughes as the star of this foundation. He does a wonderful job promoting it, and it's just great to see the community and everyone get behind it, and well done.
Here, Lockie, 9 years in and going from strength to strength, and well done to all those doing the work behind the scenes as well. Danny.
James, I learnt there was something called Glastonbury. Is that what it's called? Yeah, something
Music
like that.
and
yeah, that. And
lots of
also
dancing.
that the Warriors fans are everywhere. Up the wires. Look at them.
What a Glastonbury.
Yeah. What are they doing there?
They've got a cult following now. I reckon the Big Kahuna started that.
You know, in Las Vegas earlier this year, there were more Warriors jerseys on the streets than any other team. I saw more Warriors fans on the streets of Las Vegas.
More than the English fans.
Yep. Warriors.
Up the wires.
Up the wires.
Yep.
Well done. That's what we learnt. But of course,
a few Bulldog jerseys on the street.
Oh, we already are up the doggies. What we already do know, though, is that the series is on the line. Queensland winning game 2 in Perth, but that hasn't stopped Billy Slater from making some key changes for that all-or-nothing match Wednesday week in Sydney.
Full time, New South Wales 1-0.
Given our performance in game 1, something needs to change.
Maroon's culture has been called into question after dumping their captain, Dally Cherry Evans.
We just feel that Tom Dearden is the right person for the number 7 jersey right now.
Dearden. Queensland have risen from the dead again. The series is going to be decided in Sydney.
I thought that this team could benefit from a bit of Josh Papali'i.
Papali'i with a venomous return.
Although he's retired, the opportunity has presented itself, and I just feel it's the right time.
Sibasaki!
Gemmet Shibasaki is going to play his first game for Queensland. I'm looking forward to getting him into camp and helping him build his week to a performance next Wednesday night.
The game face on the coach there of Billy Slater as he announces his key changes for the squad for the match. That does decide the series. We were meant to be crossing with a Queensland player in the show tonight, but I reckon the mind games, even with the broadcaster, are being played at the moment. So, Lockie, you're in the firing line tonight.
Typical Queensland.
Yeah,
it's just typical.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely
scheduling
typical.
issues, etc., etc. But anyway.
We can't win this one. We can't win this one.
Here they go. They charge on regardless tonight. Big Papa, though, what does he bring other than obviously size and experience?
Well, I think Billy's already mentioned it. He brings an aura. He brings experience. He's played in big games, and he's playing well for the Raiders. And I think since he announced he retired from rep football, I think his game, he's probably mentally fresher. He's physically fresher, and the Raiders are winning because they've got a lot of good habits. So he'll obviously bring some aggression early in the game. He'll bring some experience, but he'll also bring some winning habits that the Raiders have got right now. So, and I actually think I guess the New South Wales Blues would probably respect him probably more than any other forward on the field for Queensland.
Yeah, I think it's an inspired selection. I really do. It's never a bad time to bring experience into your Origin side, particularly for a decider. And also, I think he's going off the wave of football enjoyment that big Josh Papali'i is enjoying at the moment. We saw his milestone game down in Canberra the other day where he scored a couple of tries and kicked a goal. And sometimes you can just feel the football gods are smiling on someone. We all know the football gods are Queenslanders. They brought the rain in Perth. They brought Big Papa back for Sydney. It's just their way of inflicting their little nuance into Origin and upsetting the apple cart again. And I think Big Papa is an inspired choice.
They're calling it the Alfie 2.0.
Well, it looks like he's eaten Alfie. He's 3 times the size of Alfie. But I think it's an inspired choice. I really do, because I still think they lacked that little bit of muscle and aggression early in the game. Like, the first half in Perth, they were aided by the penalty count. It didn't start well for them. New South Wales jumped to a lead. They still needed that grunt up front, and they weren't getting it. And I think Big Papa can provide that. He can go out and burn himself out for the first 18, 20 minutes and really set the platform for Queensland. And he can just throw it all into that little period there and get them on the front foot.
It was quite a contrast with the other key selection, Gemart Shibasaki, Lockie, as a selector. Why Gemart to make such an appearance in a decider in Origin?
Well, it came down, I guess Murray Tuilagi was obviously in contention, but he pulled up pretty lame after the Cowboys game yesterday, and we were sort of sweating on his fitness. But once the doctor indicated that he wasn't going to be fit to train, then we then had to look at different scenarios, and one of the scenarios was Val goes back to the wing, but then who comes into the centres? And I think, when you look at, again, a team that's winning at the moment in good habits, you've got a big body, defensively he's very good, he's marked Stephen Crichton before, and so I think, when Billy went back and had a look at his games, I've got to say, and he sort of refreshed his games late last night just to confirm that he was comfortable. We went that way, and I think it's been a great story. He nearly finished up this year in pre-season. If you talk to Michael Maguire, when he was putting him under the, putting him through a pre-season like Madge did, he was struggling, but he turned it around and he hung in there and look where he is now. He's making his debut for Queensland, so it's a great achievement for him. But obviously he's got a huge responsibility next Wednesday night, but we're all confident he can do the job.
Look, Darren, you would know a lot about Shibasaki's past, and I don't think our viewers would. He was a junior at the Broncos there early in his career. Then he left again. He had some injuries, and he came back on a trial contract this year. He can't be on very big money up there at the Broncos at the moment. This is some sort of comeback, but early in his career, when he was a kid, he looked like being something special.
Yeah, that's right, Gus. He was always a talent. For whatever reason, probably just a few injuries, he dropped in and out of first grade, just really couldn't get any rhythm going with his game, and then went to a few different clubs. And like I said, he was on the verge of quitting. Madge gave him, one more chance with a trial and train, and he's worked his way through hard effort and work ethic to get to starting the season with the Broncos in first grade. Played really well. Obviously, the team struggled there for a couple of months, but they've come back into form. And one of the players that's been really good for the Broncos in the last 3 weeks has been him. Defensively very strong, but he's also scoring tries. So he's a big body, and I think he'll obviously it's a new experience for him, but at the same time, I think he's up for it.
Lockie, why Hammer over Walsh?
One of the things about Hammer is, getting him involved in the game. Now, if he's in and around the ball, he does, and the conditions are dry, he doesn't need much space to become a threat. And I think with Hammer, playing him at fullback, he's going to be in and around the football. And I think so I know that, he's going to be obviously very comfortable in that role, and he's going to be a threat wherever he goes on the field. With Reece, I think he's still building his game. Like every week he's improving. He's still got that niggling knee injury. He's building, and he's probably not right at his peak. And I just think if you look at the players in that spine, where you got Harry Grant, Cameron Munster, Tom Dearden, if they can create some running threats themselves, then Hammer's going to be the one. He's going to be the one that gets the opportunities off the back of those guys.
Huge stories for those involved and those left out altogether for the Queenslanders. It is game on. So we switch from maroon to blue in just a moment. They're not standing us up in the Blues tonight. The coach, Laurie Daly, standing by to talk all things New South Wales as they look up to wrap up the series on their home patch. We're back right after this. You're watching 100% Footy.
New South Wales host Queensland, a core stadium at Sydney Olympic Park. Laurie Daly, that is magnificent!
You don't play an Origin game and don't receive any bruises.
It's got to be treated as if it's the last game you're ever going to play again.
Oh, big tackle by Sarah.
You're playing for pride, you're playing for the jersey, you're playing for your future, and you're in that jersey.
It's wearing the jersey that matters.
Matt Rogers, Queenslander in front.
Every player going out on that field is playing with every ounce of strength and passion that they have.
I didn't want to play for a club. I wanted to wear that maroon jersey.
There's a try. Dallas Johnson looks to have scored for Queensland.
You think back to when you were a kid.
Oh, big shoulder, Laurie Daly. Oh.
You're full of pride. It's one of the most amazing feelings you'll ever get.
I was a 21-year-old kid, just thinking, I can't let any of these guys down.
You feel the pressure, you feel the nerves, you start shaking. I've actually never felt the bones in my body shake as much as what they did that night.
And then you get out there and the crowd goes nuts.
And listen to the thunderous applause. This is going to be sensational stuff.
It is so good.
This New South Wales.
It's a wonderful feeling.
Sheridan goes up, knocks off one.
Something you can't replicate.
Huge collision.
Queensland are just constantly proving that the battler can get up.
He gets in the Munster. Queensland are dominating.
They've been through so many hardships, they're tough.
It's not something that's spoken about, it's just something that is.
Johnson, what a tackle.
We don't give in.
Terry Evans with a wonderful tackle. The veteran, the 34-year-old.
You've got to do what you can, what you have to do to get the job done.
Embrace the love of your teammate.
Don't leave anything inside the shed, leave it out there on the field.
Leave nothing in the tank and make your 10-year-old self proud.
This has been a spectacle to behold. The series is going to be decided in Sydney.
Yeah, just a handful of Origin legends setting the scene beautifully for Wednesday week at a core stadium where, of course, the series will be decided between New South Wales and Queensland, exclusive live and free right here on Nine's Whitewater Sports. And one man that knows all too well what that scenario is like, both as a player and as a coach, is Laurie Daly, and he's been good enough to join us tonight from Blues Camp. Loz, evening to you. Stefano Utoikamano misses a flight. Payne Haas has to stay behind in Brisbane to get some work on his injury. It's never simple, this Origin caper, is it?
No, it's not. I think, Payne, you talk about due diligence and being on time. I think he missed the plane. No, it was all good. Payne needed to stay behind to get some treatment. But, there's always tricks around this time of year, and there's always storylines that you got to battle along with. But, no, it's early in the week, but that won't affect what we do later in the week.
Loz, it's Lockie here, mate. Other than telling me what the game plan is, you played in a decider as a player and you've coached at that level as well. What makes a decider, or how's it different to the other games?
Yeah, I suppose, Lockie, it just sort of depends on, at the start of a series or, when you're 1-0 up or 1-0 behind, your mindset can change. Not that ours has, but there's a winner on Wednesday week, and we both want to win, and we've got to nail our prep, and it's no secret, mate, that what we want to do, we want to be better than what we were in the first 40 minutes in game one. Our discipline was poor. We didn't execute well. Our completions rate was around 56% or something like that. So that's not going to win you any game of NRL, let alone a State of Origin game. So, mate, we're going to be better at all aspects of our game.
Laurie, it's Danny Weidler. Can you feel this Queensland spirit building? They picked a couple of real bolters out of nowhere. They've got Josh Papali'i, they've got Jemmet Shivasaki. Do you feel what they're doing? Are you worried about it?
No. I can feel our spirit growing.
So you're happy? You're happy with Billy to do what he wants?
Yeah, look, I don't or can't control what Queensland do, but what I do know is what I've got inside this dressing shed. I've got a group of blokes that want to work hard. They believe in each other. Disappointed with the way we played in game 2, and we turn up with that type of performance in game 3. We're not going to be good enough. But I know what this team's capable of. We haven't reached anywhere near our potential yet. So let's hope we get our best version of ourselves Wednesday week.
Laurie, in a couple of days' time, it'll be 2 weeks since that Perth game. And in that time, how many times have you replayed that first half in your head? And have you got an explanation as to why it was so poor from New South Wales in that opening half?
Yeah, I've watched that more times than the second half. It's interesting because I think as a coach you reflect on everything. You reflect on your own prep first, and then you look at, do we have any distractions along the way? But again, they will be excuses. But one thing we have to do is make sure our preparation's good. And if we can make sure our preparation's good, that'll give us every chance of playing our best football. So we had a few hiccups along the way in game 2, a few distractions, but that's not to say that was the reason. But you reflect on everything, throw it into a pot, and you come up with the answer that you believe will best fix the issues that we had.
Loz, always great to catch up. Can't wait for Wednesday week. All the best with the preparation. Hope it's smooth sailing from here on.
Thanks, guys.
Laurie Daly, the Blues coach, joining us from their camp in Sydney tonight. Gus, before the match in Perth, comparing them on paper, you loved what you saw from New South Wales. You couldn't see them being beaten. Now Queensland have made these changes. You look at the Blues team. How far apart are they in your eyes?
Well, Queensland have made some changes, one of them forced, but they've made some other changes as well. And I think they had to, because I don't think they got the answers in game 2. New South Wales provided the opportunity in game 2. I thought New South Wales really blew it. Now, the coach has stuck fat with the side, and they've got to make sure they get their start better. And I think if they do, here at home, they should be too good. Having said that, I've got great respect for what's building at Queensland and the fact that they've now got the ability to make New South Wales get nervous. And New South Wales have shown throughout history that they can get nervous and they can unravel when things really count. And that's what Queensland play on. Queensland play on that, on the fact that New South Wales can unravel and have unravelled right throughout history when the pressure's been applied to them. So that's the battle for New South Wales. As I said before, Origin 1, if it got down to being close at the back end of the game in Origin 2, then Queensland will win. You can just feel it.
Gus, is there something that makes you nervous about that Queensland side?
Well, just their speed. Obviously their speed. And the fact that they've got this momentum now. They've got the upset win in game 2. They're still outsiders in game 3. No one really expects them to win, but we've all got that nervousness that they're capable of doing it. And that's what Origin has been built on. It's been built on their spirit and their belief and the fact that they just keep gnawing away at New South Wales and force New South Wales to capitulate in big moments. And Queensland always seem to be there. New South Wales can't win this game on talent. And that's been proven throughout Origin history. So I think New South Wales will win comfortably, but I've got great respect for Origin history and what this Queensland side is doing at the moment, and I know that they can make New South Wales nervous. And if they do, New South Wales has shown they can crack.
Oh, yeah. Bring it on. Cannot wait. Make sure you stay with us here on 100% Footy. Origin aside, we've got to get into some scuttle and the headline act tonight. Freddie, out of the running now. He said nope to the Kangaroos coaching job. So who's next cab off the rank? We'll reveal all with Scullabutt Central right after the break.
got a scoop for us, Gus?
You know something. I might be wrong.
One was just wrong. Well, he can't even done the dogs then if you're dealing in facts.
Don't stop me.
Scuttlebutt Central is where it's at tonight, and the man in the know is Mr. Denny Weidler with all the scoops tonight. Denny, big news about one of our own, Brad Fittler, and the Kangaroos job. Not happening.
James, massive surprise. Everyone thought Brad Fittler was going to be the Kangaroos coach. Peter V'landys is the man who wanted him to do that job, but today he turned it down. Here's what he had to say on radio on 2GB this afternoon.
I think just in the situation at the moment, my commitments to Channel 9, I work for the NRL, working on, participation, commercial, all types of stuff there. So I'm really enjoying that. And when the role came about and I just started to think about it and started planning, just realised that, you know what, this is mostly for someone else at the moment.
Well, that's someone else he endorsed in that conversation with Adam Hawes on 2GB earlier tonight. There he is, our very own Cameron Smith, missing in action here in the studio tonight. But Cameron, we had to grab you for a chat regardless. Thank you, mate, for joining us.
How are you, Bryce?
Well, very well. You sat here on the set recently and you showed some interest in taking on that job to succeed Mal Meninga, your old coach. Are you still interested?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think I'm keen to have a conversation with someone about the role and what the role will entail. I still haven't spoken with anyone at the NRL, anyone involved with the NRL Commission at all. Like Denny just mentioned, I think we all thought or assumed that Freddie was going to be the new Kangaroos coach. So it's all breaking news for us today. But yeah, I think for me, if I was to take on the role or even consider taking on the role, I'd have to have a conversation with someone about what that role would entail, what the commitments would be. Of course, there's an Ashes coming up and then a World Cup next year as well, Brace. But what are the commitments like during the year? As Freddie said, he's got a great job with Channel 9, as do I. I love my role with the commentary team at the moment. Got 3 young kids as well. That's why I couldn't make it tonight. I'm up in Bundaberg watching my eldest play netball. So, but it's a wonderful opportunity to be able to coach our country, our nation's team. I was lucky enough to play for the Kangaroos many, many times, and I've got some great memories in doing that. So to be able to coach such a wonderful team full of wonderful athletes, wonderful footballers would be a great opportunity.
Cam, the fact that you haven't heard from anyone at headquarters, does that annoy you at all, and does it put you off the idea of maybe being the Kangaroo coach? I mean, I would have expected someone who's going to be our next immortal would probably deserve so at least a conversation.
Oh, not really. It's I'm aware that's a pretty busy period for the game, Danny. We get in the middle of an origin period at the moment. A lot of our officials, our executives, they've been on the road. They've been over to Perth. They've been up to PNG of late. So there's been plenty on their plate. And, I haven't been sitting at home with my phone in my hand waiting for a phone call. As I said earlier, I thought that Freddie was going to be the coach, and I think everyone else thought it was going to be that way as well. So, my feelings aren't hurt. If someone wants to reach out and inquire about my interest in the job, I'd be happy to have the conversation.
Bananas if they don't. Cameron, great to catch up, mate. Enjoy the netball, and we'll see you at work this weekend.
Good on you guys. See you Sunday.
There you go, the future Kangaroos coach in Cameron Smith joining us here on 100% Footy. Let's get into the other scuttle here tonight because the menu's long and time is against us. Okay, Daly Cherry Evans' name is on the list. Now you've got my interest.
We know this is always one of our favourite topics, James, that's just Daly Cherry Evans.
You started it.
Well, Are you
about to finish
Daly started it. Well, look, there's no confirmation still of where he's going, but the Roosters are obviously the club. And the other interesting thing I'm hearing now is not only are the Roosters looking at him as a potential player down the track, if they go that way, I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a coaching role when he does finish up playing football, looking after the Sam Walkers of the world and the Hugo Savalas, maybe even Sandon Smith, because the Roosters would like him to keep staying at that club as well. So an expanded role. But Gus, you know how obsessed we in the media are with Daly's future, and I know it's one of your favourite topics too.
I try to ignore what the media says a lot of the time, Danny, but there was some ridiculous narrative last week, was it? Did I hear it correctly that Manly was struggling because Daly Cherry Evans wasn't telling them where they were going next year. Have you ever heard anything more stupid in all your life? Who comes up with that in the media?
Well, not me.
Who came up with that?
Oh, do you want me to claim it?
Eh?
Do you want me to claim it?
I mean, the curiosity of the media is none of our business, honestly. And just because they don't know where Cherry Evans is, they're demanding that Manly need to know so they can get back their season back on track. Have you ever heard anything more stupid or childish in your life?
I've heard a lot of silly things, Gus.
Eh?
I've heard a lot.
I bet it's all come from the media.
Scuttle.
Scuttle. It's all scuttle.
Blame the scuttle. So
Manly can't perform because they don't know where Daly Cherry Evans is going next year. They just know he's not going to be with them.
One of the best. So DCE's leaving. Jamal Fogarty's going in on a 3-year deal. The Raiders, number 7, long term. What are they looking at here?
So they've been linked with Jake Clifford, which is interesting. The other name I heard today, which they're quite keen to have a chat to Lockie Ilias, who's currently unable to get a start in first grade at the Dragons. His name has come up. The name which I put to them but hasn't been mentioned is Toby Sexton. I thought he would have been a player perhaps, and I know, Gus, it's a bit of a situation there. The Bulldogs.
How do I keep getting these stuff?
Anyone got any popcorn?
Is this just Toby Sexton?
Is this deliberate?
Is he? Do you still want him there?
Toby's doing a great job. As I said, we'll get through this season and then we'll see what his options are and what he wants to do.
Is it ruled out that he'll be there next year?
We have not dismissed, in any way, shape or form, it's never been discussed, we have not dismissed the fact that Toby Sexton will be with us next year. We haven't dismissed that at all.
Well,
but what we want to do is just let him get through this season. Eh?
A lot of scuttle you have.
Who from?
Media.
Media, thank you.
You media.
Media.
All right, cross that one
I'll
off.
leave you out now, Gus.
Terrell Sloan's name is on the list. I like it when they just names a player.
Yeah, quick one with Terrell Sloan. Obviously, the Dragons are saying he can do what he wants and go look around. But the first club I've heard linked to him, which is an interesting one, I think the Panthers have made a subtle inquiry.
Right.
I'm not certain exactly where he'd fit in. He's, obviously not going to be the fullback. But, he's got speed to burn on the wing and he's a player who might thrive in that system, So it's a name that they've made a subtle inquiry about Sloan.
He's a good talent. He's a really good talent. Blokes like him and Hammerstead, they scare the life out of me. I'd hate to be coaching against people like that. Speed.
The speed.
Speed.
Number 1 weapon?
Yeah.
In rugby league. There you go, from the great man. All right, now, time for that's great scuttle there,
that's
Danny.
it, gone.
You're done.
Thank you.
You've
That's enough scuttlebutt for a year.
You've aimed it all.
Can we get rid of scuttlebutt?
No.
You started it.
Get rid of it.
It's your turn.
They don't come up with anything real.
It's tracking towards having its own show the way it's going these days. You'd love that. All right, our Cash Converters conversion of the week. We heard Jake. You've always got scuttlebutt.
No one asked me.
Jake Clifford, you heard his name mentioned before. What about this? The ball is rotating the wrong way. Lockie, can you please explain what we're seeing there?
Well, I was there on the sideline, and when he kicked it, I couldn't believe, one, the rotation of it, but how far it went. That's like in golf. That's a duffed shot. And he's kicked it from the sideline. So incredible. The thing about Clifford is he's got a big boot on him. He's got a great strike. He can kick the ball a long way. So when he hit that ball, to have it on that rotation to go over, I don't think we'll ever see that again.
He's got such a big boot, the ball wanted to get away from him and start heading in the other direction.
That was very good. That is a sight to behold, our Cash Converters conversion of the week. Stay with us. You're watching 100% Footy. We're moving on to Clubland in a moment. Who's hot, who's not? The NRLW around the corner. Bring it on. We're back in just a moment here on 9. Welcome back to 100% Footy. Oh, can we keep talking about Thursday forever, please? What a night it was. 8 points to 6, just 2 tries scored. Dog v Panther. It was talked up as a potential grand final preview, perhaps game of the season, and it delivered on all counts. Simply remarkable. Nathan Cleary loves those big moments and iced them. And some brilliant scenes at Combank Stadium in front of just shy of 17,000. And of course, the obsession with the ladder here on 100% Footy continues. On the back of that, there is our masterpiece up there with 10 rounds still to go. The Panthers right back in contention now, sitting pretty in 7th on the back of that. Dogs, despite the loss, still in 2nd. Gus, who's your premiership favourite at the moment? The bookies have got the way of the Melbourne Storm, and quite comfortably, I've got to say, too.
Yeah, well, I think we've been saying all year that when the Panthers and the Storm get it right, they're still a cut above most other sides. I think it was We've seen some great performances from some of the other teams, though. The Dolphins are the ones that are capturing my imagination. Just their ability to score points and the fluency of their attack is really devastating. But the others, the Roosters are getting better. Now Sam Walker's coming back, and they've got some young fellas that are really finding their feet in the top grade. They've got a great group there. The Broncos on their day can probably beat anyone. Warriors have hit a little dry spell at the moment, but they'll bounce back. And the Raiders, well, how can you deny them? I mean, they've had 13 wins. They're way out in front in the competition at the moment and going really well.
Lockie, from that match on Thursday night, are you seeing enough from Penrith to actually believe that they can go for number 5?
Well, defence wins championships, and that's what that game was built on Thursday night, and I think that's what got Penrith back into the competition. Having those players that play in these big games, whether it's Origins or Grand Finals, knowing what to do to win those moments. I mean, we all thought when Penrith were going through the Origin series that they're not going to have the Origin players, and that's going to impact them trying to get up the ladder. But they beat the Warriors in New Zealand without their Origin players, and they come out and they beat the Bulldogs. So momentum is everything, but then if they can get within a sniff of the top 4 and all their best players are fit, all their experienced players are fit, well, I mean, they're going to be as good as anyone in the competition.
Gus, I know you don't like talking about the Bulldogs, but surely that loss tells you that you are on track and you can do something when it really matters.
Well, it tells us how far we've come. It shows how improved the club has been over the last couple of seasons in particular. We used to look at games like that a couple of years ago and think, could we survive in games like that? Last year's grand final, Storm and Panthers, was a similar sort of a game. And, we looked at it and said, could we survive in a game like that? But now we're getting the group together and, they're working hard on their game. And to come through a game like that, conceding only 1 try from a charge down, I mean, they never really had their line breached, was very, very promising, but there's a long way to go.
Lockie, the Sharks shot beaten comfortably by the Storm on Sunday afternoon. And there was no way, shape or form that the coach, Craig Fitzgibbon, wants to write off their year. He still took something away from that, but there was a lot of expectations. They sit in 10th as we speak right now.
Well, up until the 64th minute, until Katoa took that ball and put Meaney in, they were right in it. And you go back a week before that, against the Broncos, they won the first half at Suncorp there. So they're testing teams, but they're not having that ability to go on with it. So they're not far away. Like, I think where they sit on the ladder suggests they're a lot better than that, but they just haven't been able to win those moments in those big games. And look, as we see in this competition, you've only got to put 3 or 4 weeks together and you can climb up the ladder pretty quickly. So I'm not putting a line through the Sharks because they're much better than where they sit on the ladder right now.
Did you see enough from the Raiders, Gus? You mentioned them before about where they stand at the moment. The Knights came at them late, and they're the sort of matches that they used to lose, they're now winning, and more importantly, 7 wins on the trot when they're on the road this year.
Yeah, right from the start of the season. I was in Vegas. I saw them live in round 1. They accounted for the Warriors very comfortably, and I said they're fit and they're fast, and they've maintained this right through the competition. They didn't have a bye for the first 14 weeks. They've won 13 games now, which is 2 more than anyone else. They've got the ability to score points. They've got the ability to win close games. They hang in there really well, and their defence is getting better and better. So, you can't deny where they are on the ladder at this stage of the season because they've played, their draw going home is really friendly too. They've played most of the top sides in the competition already, and they're sitting up there on top of the ladder.
I know how tight you are with Ricky. You must be getting joy. I mean, I know they're not your team, but you must be getting joy for him for what he's doing.
Yeah, well, he's been around a long time, and he's had to work hard because, and he'll openly admit, they've probably struggled to buy marquee players. They've had to take the long route, which is development and buying, young players with talent from other clubs, plus bring kids through their academy system, and they're doing a really good job. Their junior grades are going really well. I think they've worked really hard over the last 4 or 5 years to get where they are now, and they're bearing the fruit as it is. And, you can't deny where they are on the competition ladder. They've beaten most of the good sides, and they're a chance.
On to some of the other smokies, but potential teams to chase for this premiership. The Dolphins, Lockie, got a big rap just then from Gus. Playing a South Sydney team at full strength other than their injured skipper Cam Murray from pre-season. If Katoa stays fit, the Hammer keeps doing what he's doing, just how far can they go?
Well, they beat not just the points they score off Katoa. Like he's brilliant with his game play and his game management, and also his ability to create space outside him. It's what they do defensively that really makes them, one of the. I think on their day they're a top 4 team easily. It's their defence, their physicality. They beat teams up, and then when they got the football, remember they're missing quite a number of big players in the forward pack, so they're scoring all these points without some of those key players in the middle of the field. So they're creating ruck momentum through their smaller players. You've got Farnworth comes in and does a bit of that, and their wingers that come in and give them a bit of gets their sets off to a great start. They lost Bostock, obviously a big loss, but I just think any team with Katoa and Hammer on the back of that forward pack creating some ruck momentum, and once some of those players come back at the back end of the year, like they're going to be right up there.
Lockie, Broncos, Michael Maguire, the investment in him, are you feeling like it's now starting to pay off?
Well, 3 weeks changes things pretty quickly. On the back of three wins, it's obviously relieved the pressure a little bit on the club, and the players are back to enjoying their football because they're winning. And I think they've been working hard to get those results. But at the same time, it doesn't take long for all that good work to come unstuck if you're not willing to put in the effort and commitment to keep performing every week. Big game this week up against Gus's Bulldogs on Friday night. That's a game, both teams are missing some origin players, but that's a big test for the Broncos. They've had a couple of good wins at home, but they go away. And I think this will be a real indication of where the Broncos are at this Friday night.
You ready for that one, Gus?
We're trying to put a team together.
Where's the violin?
Yeah, please.
Violin.
Please. At least you got Matt Burton.
Eh? Yeah. Trying to put a team together.
Yeah, good
I
idea.
took me boots to train this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Thought I might get a run.
NRLW season upon us.
Yeah.
Bulldogs inaugural season.
Yes. Friday night. It's a curtain raiser to the big Bronco and Bulldog game. So the Bulldogs have joined the NRLW family, and our girls are extremely excited. The NRLW, it's only going to get bigger, and we're very happy to be a part of it. And the girls are certainly looking forward to the first weekend. They all played a trial the weekend before last and went out and saw a few of the trials. They're looking good. The standard just keeps getting better and better.
And you'll be able to catch all the action right here. Nine's Wide World of Sports gets underway Thursday night, prime time. Sharkies v the Eels this Thursday. Bring it on, NRLW season 2025, and you'll catch every game right across Nine's Wide World of Sports. All right, we're at that time of the show where we fire things up and look back on some of the key moments from the weekend that was with our Ampol Power Surge podium. And coming in at number 3 tonight, well, Lockie, you gave him a rap before, so did you, Gus, but I know he's a Queenslander, Denny, and you're about to head into Blues camp, but the hammer, 4 tries. When you can see, I guess, when there's highlights like this, why Billy wants him in that number 1 jersey.
He's just scary, isn't he? He's just like red alert whenever he's got the ball, and look at just the way he moves around, and fullback, Queensland. He must be a hell of a player to keep Reece Walsh out. So, look at him go.
Just glides.
Look at him go.
He's frightening. He's absolutely frightening. When I was watching this game the other night, I said, they're going to pick him for Queensland. I can just feel it. They're going to pick him at fullback. He's frightening. I don't think I could sleep if I was coaching against a player like that.
The hammer. This moment, Lockie, no. Nathan Cleary, number 2 on the podium. The charge down, the match-turning moments against his old teammates.
Yeah, well, big games come down to big moments, and he's iced a few of them in his career already, Nathan Cleary, and that was, a big play at the right time, and Penrith, they deserved their win, and the Bulldogs, I think they'll obviously learn for that, but one day Nathan Cleary.
And number 1 for us tonight, Connor Tracy. These try savers, Gus. This is when you talk about can they perform in a match like that. He summed it all up from a doggy's perspective.
Yeah, well, some of the big moments come in defence, don't they? And Connor's been getting better and better. I really love Connor Tracy as a player, always have. He's had some terrible injury runs throughout his career. It's been hard to keep him on the field, but a new training regime and his own persistence and his own bravery, and he's played most of this season. He had his first ever off-season in many, many years in the off-season. He hasn't missed a training session, hasn't missed a game all season, and he's coming up with plays like that. So he's been a wonderful investment.
Mr. Consistency. Got to love it. There's your Ampol Power Surge podium for this edition of 100% Footy, where next A tab top three, the great origins based in Sydney. And a Wednesday's week decider. We're back in just a moment. You're watching 100% right here on 9. Tab top three time here on 100% footy. We're looking at State of Origin deciders in Sydney. And this is number 3 for us, Denny. That try on the buzzer from Teddy.
I'll never forget it, seeing Mitch Pearce involved, which was great. Fergo tiptoeing down the sideline, and then the great Teddy, look at him go, unstoppable from there. It was a hell of a moment, and that's a moment that's been immortalised in the Blues gym at the New South Wales Centre of Excellence as well, Teddy scoring, so wonderful stuff from the Blues.
Amazing moment on their home patch and right in front of Blatchy's Blues as well, and Rabs calling every moment of it too. James Tedesco from Boydo and Co at number 3. Number 2 for you, Lockie, the final win in that 8-year dynasty for the Queenslanders back in 2013.
Yeah, the end of a great era. It was such a special, I guess, achievement by that team, and I don't think that'll be repeated anytime soon. I guess the omen out of that game was that the Queenslanders lost game 1 in that series, and Laurie Daly was the Blues coach that night.
How did Queensland get a mention in this segment, honestly? We're talking about great origin moments in Sydney, and you've thrown up a Queensland win. Not only that, 8 in a row. Not only that, you've allowed the former captain to sledge us.
We are the underdogs, Gus.
Oh, don't worry, Gus. We're finishing on a high note.
You're going for 8 in a row and you were the underdogs.
Oh.
Well done.
Freddie's finale and your finale, Gus.
2004, Brad Fittler played his last origin game. Big win for the Blues. Series decider. They're special moments.
Are they ever? Well done, Bradley. Look at him there. Babyface Brad and Gus. Oh, with Loz too. A nice moment for Loz. And there'll be another one, who knows, on Wednesday week. Look at you and Bradley.
A long time ago now.
It certainly was. Stay with us. You're watching 100% Footy. After the break, we wrap things up and look ahead to the week of footy. Back in a moment. All right, tip time here for the 9 games. Friday, Bulldog Bronco, and then Seagull South on Sunday. Lockie?
Bronx can't possibly win against the Bulldogs. And
knows his audience
here. Manly, full strength at home, 4 points, easy.
Gus?
Yeah, Seagull, too good for Rabbit.
Yep, and we know what's going to happen Friday. I'm just glad you can see that graphic tonight. How's your eye?
Yeah, I had eye surgery during the week. I've got perfect vision in my left eye. So good that I could see that Josh Addo-Carr didn't step on the line the other night down there at the stadium. So if they need some help in the bunker, I'm there for them.
Yep. Even with your bad eyes, you could tell Nathan Cleary actually scored a try.
I had 2 bad eyes. I could tell Nathan Cleary scored a fair try in Origin too.
You going to get the other one done?
I am. I'll be dangerous then. I'll be able to see you change your mind.
That's good. That'll have everyone at NRL HQ worried as well. Good on you, Gus. Hey, Lockie, thanks for stepping in tonight, mate. Well played as always.
My pleasure.
Great scuttle, Daddy. Thanks for your company. See you next week. Bye-bye.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.